And a happy Monday to everyone. And I just want to say to you, shout out how you are doing. And by the way, happy holidays, because we're very close to Christmas and the New Year. Oh my God, I can't believe 2023 is gone. But anyway, it's gone with its problems. So 2024 is going to be a great one. So I'm excited, really, I am. And I just wanted to say to everyone, thank you so much. If it's your first time to pass through this channel, I'm going to ask you that you subscribe and make sure that you ring the bell so that every time I'm live, you'll be notified immediately. But to my regulars, I want to say shout out and thank you guys for passing through. It really means a lot. Your support, I appreciate you deeply. All right, so we are looking at Siyayi Chamisa's unbelievable authority exposes Zanu PF's shattering reality. As much as people think that they're literally, destroying Chamisa, no, they are destroying themselves. Hi, good to see you, Huda. Okay, by the way, there are people in Tulani, please appreciate you. Everybody, hello. There are people who are complaining that I should not greet because they're struggling with data. So I get that data, you know what I mean? And by the way, this is one of the reasons why we're here. We are talking right now, guys. I'm asking you to drop your location, please. Drop your location. I just want to send you some shout out. Please, Thompson, good to see you. Listen, good to see you. Always good to see you. Oh, by the way, this is one of the reasons why we are talking. We are trying so hard to make sure that we resolve our issues in Zimbabwe. I can't believe that in 2023, people can't even have Wi-Fi. If I leave my house now and I want to go to the shops, around the shops, there is Wi-Fi. If I get to any shop, there is Wi-Fi. They can connect my phone any minute, any day. But here we are. People are struggling with data. It's time. Let's work together and fix this country. There must be Wi-Fi from the airport. Everywhere you drive, there must be Wi-Fi. In town, when you're busy gallivanting in town, you must be able to connect to the internet anywhere, anytime, any day. Like when we are live like this, you should be able to stop and just listen to us while you mind your business. That's what we're talking about. A functioning economy and a functioning country. That's what we are pursuing. So please stick around. We're going to work together to fix this country. It's going to happen soon. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm sorry. So when I send some shout out, I know, really, it's not like for everybody, but I do send some shout out, So guys, note that if I don't call your names, it's because there are other people that are saying data please, and I have to be considerate. Thank you. Oh, by the way, today is the 18th of December 2008. Okay, today I want to celebrate a woman that changed my life, that brought this beautiful woman that you see. Literally, she carried me for 9 months. Beautiful woman, my mom that is in heaven. I want to celebrate her. She went to heaven on the 18th of December 2008. So it's 15 years while she's in heaven with the Father. And I can't wait to meet you again. I know she's alive and well, So you can hear my heart is her heart. She just dropped her heart before she left. But one thing I am grateful for, one thing I'm grateful for. 2 days prior to my mother's death, she spoke a word of blessing. She blessed me, and then she said, you know what? I know that, soon I have to go. And the other thing that was a trademark, really still sitting with me every day, is that the day that she went to heaven, she woke up early in the morning and she was singing a song after song. My mom was Methodist, so pretty much she was very much, glued to the hymn book. Yes, she was singing a song after song, after song after song. Then she later said, you guys must move me from here, then I have to go. So I want to celebrate her. She was really an incredible woman. I am who I am today because of my lovely mother. She was beautiful. But her soul, rest in peace. 15 years down the line, I'm healed now, so I'm good. We'll meet her anytime, any day, very soon. May God bless her and her soul. All right, so moving on, guys. This is why I keep on saying we must work hard, guys, to fix this country. Whatever it takes, we need to fix the country. Okay, so ZimLive reported that in Libya, actually, people, almost women and children, died. I don't know where they were on their way to, but of course, Europe. So a lot of kids and mothers died trying to, died just was a shipwreck, I guess. I just want to say to you guys, if we don't fix our country, we are going to reach a point where we are desperate. This is why whatever it takes for us to fix Zimbabwe, let it be. Let's work together to sort out this country. Otherwise, I can tell you, I will make this very clear. We're going to get to a point where we can be very desperate, including those that think things are working for them. No, There will come a time that we won't have anything if we don't fix our country. We should. And thank you guys so much for sending such lovely messages. I appreciate you. Honestly, I do. Oh, by the way, we may say that, like, so there's a member of parliament who literally requests that they should allow them to, when we're staying in hotels, they must move with their wives in hotels. But this member of parliament is advocating that every time we are in hotels, we must be with our wives. And I'm asking myself, sir, this is not a holiday camp. You're going to work. What about men who travel literally for weeks or months at work? But we have one member of parliament who's advocating Zimbabwe. You know, let me just drink some water. I think you just become a member of parliament, and all you can request, apart from all the ills we have in the country, the suffering of our people, you're asking for you to be accompanied by your wife to stay in a hotel at whose expense, sir? You're not going to a holiday camp. If you want, you can take your wife when you want to. But when you're at work, we can only cater for you, Mr. Member of Parliament. I really think there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's definitely a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of misunderstanding. And let me explain why. Because you are a servant, right? It's your time to serve. Imagine thinking about dining with your wife at the time that you should be doing the work. You should be serving. You want to dine with you. Honestly, there must be some, I feel like we need to include in, I don't know, the contracts that these members of parliament are signing. We need to make it clear that this place here, you didn't come here for luxury stuff here. You came here to work. Otherwise, leave. We can get other servants. You're not the only person. Or these kind of people should be removed with immediate effect. You're already cancerous to a society. You can't tell me that you're asking to what? To be accompanied by your wife to do the job? This guy's crazy. It's crazy. Use your money. Use your own money. If you want to, that's your prerogative. But one person is advocating for, yeah, people are too comfortable. Way too comfortable. Honestly, now I understand why people say some of the politicians, you know, they're always going to smile on their way to the bank and to luxury lifestyle. And forgetting that the country is bleeding. There are people that are hungry. You think about us paying for your wife to accompany you to go and do the job for the country and be paid in return. I don't care, even if it's little. If it's little, then walk away. So many packages, so many advantages. So please respect the country and do the work or leave. It's that simple. There are people that will also be willing to serve. Guys, you know we have been really sitting on this issue for too long. The issue that we have, which is a pandemic that we are facing right now, is a war. It's a war between a Cold War. So Temba Mliso called it Cold War. You know, there is a Cold War in Zimbabwe. And that war is always between ZANU-PF and Citizen Coalition for Change, but mainly Chamisa. Chamisa is what people are fighting. That is the person that people are fighting for. Or fighting today. Some are fighting for, maybe people like us who are in the Citizen Coalition for Change, you know, those, you know, like I'm a faithful follower. And on the other hand, ZANU-PF is fighting him, you know. So this man is in the middle. I can only imagine what he's going through when you're in the middle, you know, and everybody's fighting you. You know, I can only imagine. But anyway, Peter Maloney said, if I walk into ZANU-PF official headquarters today and tell them that I have a plan to destroy Chamisa, I'll be treated like a first-class passenger. Unapewa chair in a comfort, cold water, wotoka accommodation, free internet, media coverage, etc. It's a common pattern, but they don't learn. Who is he referring to? Of course, Vanasongezo Shamangu, a number of people who doesn't even realize that they're being used. They're being used. If I move right now and it says, whatever it takes, I can bring this man down. Oh my God, I'm going to be home. They're going to take care of me like royalty. But in return, there are going to be consequences. There are definitely going to be consequences. So the man that is varikurira right now, a man that is, it's a shavangu. Remember, Monzora akarira. There's an interesting Zim Daily cartoon that is, if you see it, you're just going to understand what I mean. That the person that right now is definitely shavangu. But while we are pursuing this battle between the two parties, let's hear what Muchangwa said, because the goal was very clear prior to elections. Actually, Muchangwa made it clear. So I wanted to remind you, when they had a presser, what he said, I want to remind you, he made it very clear. Very clear. So I want you to take a listen closely to what Muchangwa said. Please go ahead.
Of the opposition. That's where they are being abandoned by those who used to support them. Akuchina achawa support vanhu vakaona munhu vanhu. Zvinonzi opposition yanhuwa. Wangonuwa chete. Vanhu vanokutiza. And isusu vezanu PF tiri mbwa iri kuvhima. Ikangoruma ikambonanza ropa. Mamanyira inoita kuda kunopedzesa mhuka iyeyo. So we feel that we've smelled blood. The Triple C is finished. And we are going to make sure that the electorate give them the fatal blow come elections 23 August 2023. Come election.
So they knew the plan. That Triple C is finished. They had a plan. I've told you it's a script. It was a script. Yeah, it's a script. They knew the agenda was definitely to destroy. But the bottom line is they are not destroying, they're actually sinking. They think they are destroying, but they're not, they're destroying themselves. I've always said that when you have a plan to hurt the other person, your assumption is I'm hurting the next person. No, you are destroying yourself. Because these are your seeds that you're sowing. And sometimes things don't go your way. They can turn around and come and haunt you. You're not always going to get away with it. That's why they don't realize is that as they think they're plotting him. No, they are not. They are singing daily. Mr. Muchangwa, you are singing daily. Time Hotel. But there are allegations. Okay, I think people love, Zimbabweans love toxicity. That's some, not all, but most of our people love toxicity. You can see it. You can see on social media how people celebrate toxic people more than they can celebrate peace and love. And they're saying, Promise Mukwananzi has been fired. He's not fired. Honestly, in my opinion, if you are in a place and of service, maybe you may say for a certain period of time, doesn't mean that you're a bad person. You're incredible. But maybe no one knows, maybe he's got another project that he's going to pursue, and his family that may not accommodate him to always available and answer. But the only thing that people are rushing for is his fired, not rushing to say there are circumstances that may push you to change your schedule. That may push you to say, I'm happy with what I've been doing, but I don't think I can carry on doing this. Or I've done it, but I think it's wearing on me. Remember, this guy is a married man. You never know their schedule with the wife. Maybe things have changed. They said, baby, you know what? 2024, our schedule is going to change. Our vision is going this way. I don't think you stand as a spokesperson may work. We don't know yet because he never answered. He never confirmed. People are just speculating. If it's true, you will eventually going to confirm, which is not a big deal actually. It happens every day. I mean, for me, I don't bother at all. I know so there are things that I've committed myself to, and I woke up one day, I said, you know what, listen, I don't think I can carry on doing, try someone else. And people understood and they respected me for making that decision. So with that being said, is all this speculation to try to push a hatred narrative is not correct. These people are too smart and wiser than you think. People have been trying to squeeze and try to say, no, there were issues, it was fine. It's in your head. These people are good. It's only you who are busy creating issues to suit your narrative. But you know what? I know that these guys are good. They're intact. They know what their goal is. The goal is to free the people of Zimbabwe. They may not look like it, but trust me, one day you'll be surprised with what God is going to do. Be surprised. But let me tell you, as much as people say ZIVHU is a castle lighter drinker, Honorable ZIVHU used to be an honorable, is no longer. Killer ZIVHU. People say, it takes a lot of castle light. He always confirm as well that he's a drinker. I don't drink, so I don't know how castle light tests. I don't know. But really, he has been dropping quite a number of tweets that he's on Chamisa's corner and say it is enough. He said the empire in Kenya has no home, no job, no country, no house, no freedom, only hiding quarters, not trying to trying hard to use Chamisa's name to come back home. Ndimbonyarawo kan mudhara iwe, chimbonyarawo kan mudhara iwe, siyana nemwana anezera nelast born yako. You see, people are now rebuking Jonathan Moyo. It's embarrassing. He 24/7 is Chamisa, it's his project. You also say you wake up every day, the country is peaceful, but you buy petrol and a lighter to test it. When the flames become uncontrollable, don't blame others but yourself. Because things are working, but you just look for problems. He said, let's focus on nation building. So good elections were stolen. We all understand. If you fail to stop the thief, maybe recover the stolen votes. Zakato Varana, why focusing on Chamisa? Focus on development and the economy. Why worried about Chamisa every day? Ingori Chamisa. That's Jonathan Moyo for you. He also says, Siana na Chamisa akadaro. If he is naked, you'll find the clothes at his own time. Chingoitayi party dzenyu, kana, kusapota, dziripo, munyerere, zvamuchatiurayira, mwana, wavanhu, itai, dzenyu, moga, politics, dzacho, dzamunoda, with the structures, bank accounts, constitution, etc. Because remember, yesterday dropped such a long thing that we discussed last night. That is Jonathan Moyo attacking Nelson Chamisa. He doesn't have the structures, he doesn't have a bank account. And I'm saying what the other side, I'm like, you guys created your whole script and you take your imposter Songezo, you took him from Blawayo, he was booked at the lodge allegedly, and you took him to Borodale to open an account under Citizen Coalition for Change. And now you turn around, now you're blaming Chamisa for that. I mean, I'm like, you guys, you're a psychopath. Like, you're crazy. Like, you literally create stuff and do stupid things and turn it around. You're gaslighting and you say, oh, no, we are not the ones. Like, you're like psychopath. Like, we are literally having crazy people around us who, in the name of professors and doctors who are busy typing day in, out, but mentally they're distorted. I'm not surprised because some of them have committed such heavily atrocities and it's time to pay. You know, when you're doing evil and think you're going to get away with it, no, you won't. There will be a time that you need to pay. Each and everyone must know that whatever your actions are today, these are your seeds, and there will be a time that you're going to be reaping. You also say today, let me ask this question. Why those supporting the ruling party, instead of discussing about development in our shattered economy, they discuss about Chamisa only? Asikune marino piwa munu kana akaswera ashingori Chamisa on social media. So can you tell me, guys, who is really the man of the match here? Yeah. It's like Chamisa is the real deal here. I've never heard people talk about the president. Okay, people talk about Mr. Mnangagwa, but if there is something happened, and then people are kind of, you know, but every day it's always Chamisa, 24/7. It's Chamisa. Chamisa is not the president of Zimbabwe. There is His Excellency, Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa. He is the president of the country. But no, people are just focusing on Chamisa 24/7. That's why I'm saying I don't know how he's doing it. I can only imagine if I was in his position. It's not easy. It's not easy dealing with a human being. But I wanted to remind you, because now we're going to talk about one question. Yeah, I'm going to ask you a question. Because some people are suggesting that Nelson Chamisa, Ngube, they also now, I didn't know now they are roping Job Scala in this conversation as well, and BT should have a conversation. I want to hear from you, yo. What are you saying? Do you think that Washman Ngube, Tendai BT, Chamisa, and Job Scala should have a conversation? What do you all think? What's your take on that? I would please drop a comment in the comment section. Do you think they must sit and have a conversation? I'll tell you what I think. You know, I'm good, of course. I'll tell you what I think. But some people are suggesting that they need to sit down and have a conversation. But I think before we even talk about the conversation, let's listen to what Tsvangirai said years back when he was betrayed by the same two men. That was Tendai and Washman Ngube. Let's listen to what Tsvangirai said. He's led, the led. May his soul rest in eternal peace. He's also in heaven. Because that will help us, you know, to understand what's going on here. It will help us. He was very clear. Tsvangirai was very clear that these very same people that you're talking about, these people here, are the reasons why we are in this predicament. You know, they've done so many wrong things. And now you want them to come back again and do more wrong things. I don't understand. If then they were able to betray Tsvangirai, and then Chamisa came in and is still accepting them and said, brothers, let's fix Zimbabwe, you know. And then he's also suffering the very same, challenge. And now you are telling me that you would like them to talk and sit down and have a conversation. In the words of my angel, when people show you who they are for the first time, believe them. When people show you who they are for the first time, believe them. I know sometimes you say, no, but give a person the benefit of the doubt, please. We need to give someone the benefit of the doubt. I get that. But right now, all I can say is when people show you who they are for the first time, please believe them. They showed you before, and now you're still believing them that they can be better people. And that's why I'm asking you and say, do you think they must sit down, all of them, and have a conversation like what people are suggesting? And they're saying in the name of the political party, in the name of us trying to defeat ZANU-PF. Now, I don't think it's a good idea, but this was suggested by Wende. Wende also, who is being accused as well, that he also worked against Chamisa. But he said, please, can't these guys sit down? He said, President Chamisa is the best foot forward. That is Wende. Is the best foot forward. You start by the right words. Yeah, if you want to say something that is stupid, you start by the right words. So that a person can say, oh my God, what are they talking about? They're going to give you the attention that you need. And then you get to talk your nonsense if you want to. So you say, President Chamisa is the best foot forward to remove ZANU-PF. That's his intro. And he also saying, anyone who thinks otherwise is making a mistake. He represents the millions who have a national grievance with ZANU-PF. He needs a conversation with Honorable BT, Honorable Job Sikala, and Honorable Nwe. First and foremost, I didn't know that he had issues with Job Sikala. Anyone who knew it, I didn't have a clue. It's all about gossiping. It's all about, again, now we can see where this is going. Remember, so many things has been happening. People were accusing that Chamisa is the reason why he's still in prison. We all know who is busy pushing this agenda of lies and toxicity. Of course, we know who those people. You know who specializes in pushing a narrative of evil. They must work together and jointly must broaden their alliance to include key opposition and civic society leaders. We need a broad-based democratic movement behind Nelson Chamisa to win against ZANU-PF. First of all, what makes you think that Tendai Biti and Washman are the only people that can be behind Chamisa? We have great men and women in Zimbabwe there, wise men and women who are just in the background. And they're giving counsel. For your own information, what is it about Washman and Tendai Biti that has to be so, without them, like there's no life? No. I'm very disappointed with the fact that you can't, even if you were angry, you cannot betray the struggle. You can't betray the struggle. You can't betray the struggle. You can't tell me that you had to give up our MPs in the name of saying I'm being hurt. Oh, so when you are hurt, you can destroy. Why you just didn't start something new if you were angry? Why you didn't just pull yourself out and say, hey, I'm not happy with one or two things. I'm going to just move on and do my stuff. Why then do you want to destroy? So in my opinion, nah. This whole meeting and talk, it should never happen. Honestly, sometimes you need to know when the relationship is broken, it's broken. It's not, you can't mend it, and fair play, move on, try something else. Chamisa is fine. As a matter of fact, there are so many people around him that are doing incredibly well. Bless you. Who are doing incredibly well. Yeah. So I don't think there's any need for these guys to be begging and say, no, guys, so many things went wrong, man. The disrespect of Chamisa daily and you expect him to be your leader. No, if I'm in Chamisa, I'm not going to take it. And then I'm a person that if you disrespect me to that extent, especially going to social media, if you've got issues with me, you better come and talk to me. But if you go to social media, our relationship is gone. Like it's gone. I don't need people to come and control me. Say when Songez was doing his drama, Washman never said a word. He was just quiet. Right? Then after all these, the 2 things achievable, now all of a sudden you're out of the cocoon and you're like, hey, it's not me, leave me alone. But all along you were not saying anything. Again, it's a red flag. I'm not going to buy it. I think, no. For those that think, oh no, they must be sit down and talk. No. And Mr. Wender, you can lead the talks if you want to, if you think there's any possibility. But as far as I'm concerned, it's unfair for Nelson Chamisa because he's the underdog. He's the youngest. It's hard. I mean, I can only imagine what you do and in the midst of all this toxicity, especially being pushed by old people. But then Wende was also exposed too. Wende allegedly has got a ghost account on Twitter that's called Gasheni. And this ghost account has been operating since 2019. And there was a time he was actually instigating a bit of fights between people within the parameters of the opposition party. So now he's talking about, let's say, the talks. So there's been exposed that, here is the most confusing thing. Last night, Wende called for unity, okay? In that call, he also mentioned Job Sikala, the same person he was haunting, trying to elbow out using his ghost account. And Gasheni, that's the ghost account that he's using on Twitter. Embarrassing and humiliating. I'm sorry, any person who has got a ghost account, I've got respect for you, but I think it's disgusting, in my opinion. It's the worst thing any human being can ever do. It's Zimbabweans. We need to mature, man. There's a lot of like something's wrong in this country. Like, this is a member of parliament. Like George has got a ghost account. Why can't you just speak as George? Why can't you just speak as Wende? What are you guys doing with ghost accounts for? Like, I'm talking about prominent guys. You call yourself a professional and 1 minute you're using a ghost to act like you're like a ghost person when you know it's you. I don't need to create a ghost account I mean, if a person doesn't want to talk to me, fair play, I don't care. But I'm not going to have a ghost account to represent me. I'm going to stand for what I believe in and stand for who I am and be honest with myself. This should worry us, honestly. These people don't qualify to be in any office. Unfortunately, I don't care what people say. It's their mentality that is so stupid. You can't have a ghost account as a member of parliament and be attacking people like the way George Chanaba does. He once attacked me on Twitter. Immediately when I came to Twitter, he was attacking me. So I was, posting some clips, the video clips, and one day he literally swore at me. So I was like, who's this person? I don't know him. And of course, I didn't even know who he was. And then Neva Masurase came and said, Rumbi, this is actually George Charamba's ghost. And that ghost was eventually blocked by Elon Musk. What was the name again of it was called Chingoitayi. Kutukwana secretary in the president's office, kutuka out this little girl, me, just minding my business. Kundituka. I'm just saying, like, these are fathers in the house. But kutuka my single girls on the street. Like, it's embarrassing. Does he really have a ghost account? Because it's a shame, yeah. Like, if you see Mr. When you tell him, it's embarrassing, delete that nonsense. Put your name out. Talk. We want to hear you speak. Stop coming here and put a ghost account. It's embarrassing. It's not good in our society. It doesn't set a good precedent to our children and everyone who's following you. Like, I'm disappointed. I was not going to vote for a person who's got a ghost account. No. Put your name out. Let's know who you are. It's wrong, man. It's wrong. So he was literally causing scuffles within the opposition party using this ghost account. So these are allegations. Apparently, I'm the vile one for the calling out Umbedo. Where have you seen a leader fighting other leaders using a ghost account? You see people asking questions. Who does that? Especially leader. I don't care any other small little person in Zimbabwe who can just create this ghost account and be just being naughty. But we are talking about a member of parliament here. We are talking about a man who's being respected in the society. You cannot have a ghost account as a member of parliament. Put your name outside there and speak. So your words must be you. People should follow you because of your truth, not because you are hiding behind a certain name. Now, like I said to you, as much as people are trying to push this agenda of saying there must be a conversation among these leaders, I want to remind you, first of all, we spoke about Watchman who has been a little sending vile lately. He started sending out redos. He has been attacking Chamisa, calling him an emperor. We also have Tendai Beauty, who literally was heard speaking, ugly about Chamisa and call him that he was almost finished, like Anga Atopera. But I want to remind you, because I've got those videos, so that you can take a listen to what Tendai Beauty said. Take a listen, please.
I'm not the president. Me, I'm going to tweet. I'm going to tweet and say I'm not the president of anything. Yeah, I'm going to... Yeah. Yeah, all right. Yeah. So just tell him that I'm gonna tweet. You find me on this phone. We need to talk. I feel that he has been premature. With Munanga Kapera Ego.
You heard him too.
Kapera Ego Munu. No.
You heard him.
I'm gonna tweet.
Tendai me to say anga shapera ega Chamisa. Remember? You said it. And these are the people you are saying that they must come and sit down and talk. Okay. I have a problem with people who don't have a vision. I have a people who okay. Chamisa may not be perfect. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, he may not be perfect, he may have his own flaws. Like all of us, yeah, me and you, we all have our own flaws, aren't we? But we must remember that this guy is working against such ruthless people. This guy's been through the most. All we can do is to extend grace. Rather than bashing and be disrespectful, we should extend grace. And say we are grateful for what this man is doing. He's trying. At least they're trying. What about those ones that are just waiting to spectate and be criticizing? What are we saying about them? At least he is trying. We must respect them for trying. So we must not forget that Tendai is the same person who says Chamisa actopera. Now we want them to sit around and say what? You call me Gundanda Pera, what else are you going to believe about my future? If you think that I'm going absolutely nowhere. I don't want people who don't have a vision. People who judge you because of where you are. There are some people right now here who doesn't know. You see what life does. Let me teach you a principle. For those who understand well about how life works, not the Katama corners, the 2023 microwave generation. You have to get mushonga. No, if you truly want to walk through life in a proper way and succeed, it's a process. I may be sitting in front of you guys today here. You see the way that I'm talking to you now? But you never know, tomorrow I'm going to own the whole television station. I'll be owning it. But I started talking to you the way that I do. Just because Chamisa's way is today, it doesn't mean that this is his end. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and beat Magut, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, when he's your president. You never know. Just because you are trying to destroy him left, right, and center doesn't mean this is his end. It's in your head. You're not God. You don't know what God has in store for him. You can't bring a man who has a vision down. It's not possible. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. You cannot bring him down. It's not possible. That's why I'm never advocating for any talks. Tendai Bitu spoke, Anga Topera. Washman is attacking him. And then people coming in and said, no, there must be talks. What talks are you expecting? I'm not supporting no talks, in my opinion. There's no talks. But Mukwananzi was also spoke yesterday to the standard and say that both allegations are false and baseless. I think that's what people talk about, the people that surround Chamisa. And says, in fact, for a long time, the president has been surrounded by disloyal people. Okay, also is referring to Ngobe and also BT. That we want the president to be surrounded by people who share his vision for a great Zimbabwe. Get that, the vision. Very important. Not by people who want to be MPs or councillors. And when they fail, they go berserk trying to burn the whole house. Remember the issue that Tendai was angry that he didn't manage to go back to parliament. But I told you there are so many ways to share. I think for me, parliament literally is a demotion to Tendai, considering his knowledge. I would rather open a company that people come and consult me, and then I can share my wisdom with pride. That's great. That's how great people think. But keep on pushing yourself to be heard by you can be heard by people anywhere. You're already a great man. What do you want in parliament? Leave the young kids. But they're saying that is the problem. They were angry that he did not make it to parliament. That's why they decided to destroy. You also heard Washman talk about him being the vice president. So he was angry too. So for that reason, they rather burn the house. Again, when I apply the wisdom of Solomon, I'm like, because the babe doesn't belong to you, we understand that. Because if you know that I worked so hard, I carried 9 months, this child, I was desperate, I needed a baby, you know what I mean? I really want to see my child. You will never say cut the child. You're like, the child knows who the mama is eventually. So you know what? Destiny and vision knows who the owner is. So with time, it will eventually going to show who was truly the code. Because when God calls you, nothing, absolutely nothing what a man can do. That's why I mean, whenever I'm dealing with a situation that when people think that I'm dumb, I'm saying, if God is for me, who can be against me? And if God says I'm going to cross you, no one, absolutely no one can say no. If God says I'm going to be there, you can't stop me to be wherever I need to go, because you're not the one who sends me. Because the God that leads me and directs me, he knows exactly where I'm going, and he will order my steps at the right time. And so for that reason, if God says Chamisa is going to be the president of Zimbabwe, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that way that the regime will do, or neither you or haters do to stop him. He will cross. It's a matter of time. He will cross, it's just simply a matter of time. So we want the president to have a dynamic team of young and old, reflecting our multifaceted social composition. A top CCC member in Chamisa's circle added, honestly speaking, how does it happen where some people want to import the MDC or People's Democratic Party culture and structures into CCC? The CCC is a new baby with its own leader and structures. You remember that when you looked at the constitution that was produced by Songezo Shavangu, it literally had MDC on it. You also heard that even in the courts, I mean, that's why I'm saying I don't understand why the courts could not see. I mean, how can you say Shavangu was like, honestly, I know this what's called circumstantial evidence. Is people saw Chamisa, everybody knew from the beginning of this party, but all of a sudden the magistrates and they act like they did not see. I'm not a magistrate. Maybe I don't know what law they were using. I don't know what law they were using, but I can just imagine, because everyone saw who was the leader of the party, but apparently Songezo has been given the powers. We'll ask a question, who's Songezo? Who's that person? But anyway, Chamisa said, a leopard never changes its spots. He sent out this tweet on the 10th of October 2023. He said a leopard never changes spots. By the way, October, right? Sorry, that was after elections. So you already knew what was happening. A leopard never changes its spots. Agreed. Like I said to you, when people show you who they are for the first time, believe them. I know sometimes we give people the benefit of the doubt. No, but they are human. Oh, let us be gracious. You never know, people change. But when people show you who they are for the first time, I suggest that you believe them. Also, where Freeman Chari is still on the side of Washman Nule, because Washman Nule, he tweeted and said, "I'm really not happy. This is Freeman Chari with the way you guys are treating Professor Nule. For what it's worth, when we were stuck disputing adopting polling stations money with only 48 hours before election, he stepped up, and in 24 hours, all Matabeleland, North, South, Blawayo were done. Something Mashonaland failed." Okay, so you are saying, okay, fair play, which is a great thing. So surely if Professor Washman had worked so tirelessly and hard towards the movement, why is he then destroying? That's what I don't understand. If he really, worked tirelessly and, honestly, why then do you want to destroy? But then Washmangwe was like, thank you, Chari, for the kind intervention. I don't really mind the abuse and insults. I seek no accolades from charlatans who think truth doesn't matter. Truth matters. We can never build an enduring democratic alternative based on deceit, incessant lies, autocracy, and deception. So he's alleging that their people deceived him. There's deception around in the party. One thing that I think for me, why I keep on saying Professor, as much as I respect Professor Washman, is that you must realize that he's dealing with young people. Most of the people, they are young. You must never forget that. He's dealing with young people. So you must always be gracious as a father. Be gracious. When someone does wrong, you correct them, but respectfully. You know what I mean? And in a way that they will respect you again. If you keep on bashing people, even as a leader, you bash them every time, instead of them listening to you, they'll be afraid of you. And you don't want that kind of relationship. As for me, I'm a person who always wants to really love. I love to live. And I'm very open to life. So I communicate well. But if I see that every time you don't give me the platform to speak, I pull my energy and I just watch. That's how I live my life. If you don't give me that platform where I can be the best of me, where I have to hear positive words and affirmation, I pull my energy and then I just relax and I watch. Because I'm not going to live a miserable life. So honestly, I think sometimes professor needs to understand that he's dealing with the youngsters. They're young. You must be gracious. You must talk to them knowing that they need to learn from you, but not be afraid of you. You know what I mean? We need to learn. So be gracious. Chamisa is younger than you, and you must speak to him with respect. Also understanding that it's okay for him to be a leader, regardless of his age. And also, if he can guide, you can guide. But respect the fact that you may have the calling, and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. But Matebuka could not have it. He literally immediately responded. He said, "This is extremely difficult, one Prof and Freeman Charit. That's because it is clear that you contributed immensely during the campaign season. It's also clear that he has been sidelined, is understandably deeply aggrieved about it. We have to try dissect the matter carefully from the point of view of the povo. Remember, Mr. Ngwe should remember that the people that truly matter here is us who voted for Citizen Coalition for Change, us who I flew to Zimbabwe to register to vote. You know what I mean? So, Mr., you should respect me and my time. And by the way, I had drama there. I eventually registered, but I guess maybe God was like speaking to me. He was speaking. He started when I was at the airport, when I was literally leaving. When I was asked you to say, we want to see a certificate for COVID. I'm like, excuse me, we're in 2023. When did we end up the COVID? Oh, no, in Zimbabwe, they need it. I'm like, sorry. And the woman was like, it's your country. She said to me, it's your country that was the COVID. It's not us. It's your country. I was like, okay, so what's next? Like, no, you need to change your flight. I'm like, no way. Not today. It's not going to happen. I can't do it. Yeah, I cannot because I've already changed. I did again change because my schedule changed. I'm going to change and pay more money again. I'm like, nope. I have to be in Harare this morning. I was at the airport early in the morning at 8 a.m. I'm like, no, I have to go. I have to, no, not 8 a.m., around 6 because I was supposed to be in Harare at 8 a.m. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I left my house early. It's not going to happen. They eventually helped me, but on condition that when I land in Zimbabwe, I must test for COVID. By the way, they asked me for a certificate. They didn't even ask me for a message because every time we were vaccinating, we were receiving a message. We're not being given a certificate. We had too many in South Africa. They won't do it. But eventually, and the people then Zim wanted money. They also play around with my time. God, the dogs were all over me thinking that I was carrying something, I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I can only imagine, Mr. Ngwe, I went through the most trying to make Zimbabwe a better country. That can show you that I'm very committed to the movement. So if you can come here and think it's about Chamisa, you're wrong. It's about the old women. It's about us young people who believed in the movement. It's about everyone who literally voted. Some of them flew from different angles of the world to come to Zim. It's about everyone who contributed. Some contributed their last dollar. Some people didn't come in person, but they were contributing towards the movement. And it's about those people, not about you. And today, their love for whatever you are loving, whatever, who cares what. It's about the povo. That's what Matebuka is trying to remind you and say, no, you're wrong. It's about the povo. He said, I think it's the Shavangu saga which has put the prof in the crosshairs for the povo. Particularly the perceiving failure to robustly condemn him put some daylight between himself and Shavangu. Shavangu was wreaked havoc for some time and is clearly hell-bent on destroying the opposition on its bidding. The prof is a senior figure in the opposition movement. He has been for decades, regardless of whether or not he has been sidelined or feels so by Nelson Chamisa. My take is that there was huge expectation from the povo that he would robustly and constantly defend the opposition movement. When he failed to do so, given the regime's propaganda, the reduce he chanted out, the perception that was created was that he was in bed with Shavangu, operating from the shadows. It should be common cause that the prof should not have needed to either occupy a specific leadership position or be free from being aggravated with how he possibly felt Chamisa had unjustly treated him to still vigorously condemn Shavangu. In fact, I would argue that it was in the prof's best interest to do so. This is because he's checked, checked history with the opposition movement from Morgan's days would have already partly squandered the required loyalty, trustworthiness capital by the average CCC members and or supporter. It is not enough to be legally or morally correct in politics. One also has to make the correct moves on the political chessboard. The prof's political Anthony should have been sensitive to the pre-existing jittering and fears that he had propensity to rebel or set his own too at the slightest hint of frustration, as it were. Whether or not there was a true is irrelevant. That was relevant or important was that reassurance was always going to be needed to address pre-existing anxieties. As difficult as it was, the prof needed to rise above any differences he had with Chamisa for the time being. Close ranks offer support which would simultaneously work to show that he had nothing to do with Shavangu's shenanigans. And then, once the coast was clear, return to either address his grievances or explain his position. So from a political praxis point of view, Moyo's favored term, the prof, was perhaps naive to think that he could remain silent while indulging in redos at a time when Shavangu was feasting on the same party. Wait it out without intervening, and then eventually emerge from his self-imposed hibernation like he was now to spell out his grievance. That simply won't cut the mustard. The truth matters only when it's known and delivered in optimum conditions. At this moment in time, the Pope does not know that the truth is, and it comes extremely difficult when that truth is contested and one is coming from a history of perceived loyalty and trustworthiness, deceit, deficit by the same movement's supporters, and that same person has been silent or deployed in laissez-faire approach. So these are literally Tonys. So pretty much they can use their language. You know, the language that they use, like the Latin language sometimes, approach during an existence crisis. From where I stand, this is the context is involved, and already deeply suspicious Paul is simply rushing to conclude that the prof is at it again. Remember that the prof simply embarked on an elite partnership with Tsvangirai. Remember, I told you before that he had an issue with before Prof. Washman Tsvangirai as well. Remember, it is impossible that there are many who had never forgiven him for previously walking away from Tsvangirai, regardless of whether or not he had been entitled to do so. But which worries me the most? Why does he always walk out at the last minute? Why does he always walk out at the last minute? Again, Professor Ngube. Yeah, I don't know why he always walk out at the last minute. That's a great question right there. He always walk out at the last minute. He did that with Tsvangirai. When people show you who they are for the first time, believe them. Believe them. You believe them. But let me tell you, I've told you last time, I think revolution will start in Bulawayo. Honestly, Bulawayo people says we cannot stand this nonsense any longer. We want to protest. We want to protest. We are sick and tired of the regime and the abuse. We want to protest. Yeah, Bruce made it clear, today, he's definitely saying he wants on Central News that they are ready to protest because they're sick and tired of being abused. Take a listen, please.
Zimbabwe, to unpack the situation that's been happening there. Bruce, welcome to News Central Now. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man.
So let's look at the reasons behind the decision to stage a protest on the streets rather than using, some would say, other channels to voice your frustrations with the current situation. So why are we talking, or why are we looking at having Zimbabweans hit the streets to protest the situation that's happening within the assembly, within the parliament?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. Well, as you know, that the Citizens Coalition for Change, led by President Advocate Nelson Chamisa, we are a democratic party. And we believe that we need to use democratic means to attain power. And in that instance, we believe that the only way to attain power is through the means of the ballot. But listen, historically, Zimbabwe has been merged with contested elections. We are now having elections without the vote. And if the government of Zimbabwe has failed to respect the will of the people, you have failed to respect the values of democracy, have failed to respect and also protect what our forefathers fought for during the liberation struggle, which is one man, one vote. We resort to other options, which are also inscribed in our Constitution of Zimbabwe, to make sure that we hold the government into account. So we have chosen the streets to be the avenue of our struggle. Why? Because our offices have failed to address this. Our courts have failed to address this. The Parliament of Zimbabwe, as you have seen the events that inspired yesterday, where our members of Parliament were forcefully removed from Parliament by police officers. So it means that Zimbabwe has no more space for dialogue. The avenues that they thought that they can maybe uplift and uphold our issue and the citizens' question for change, they will feel that the judicial system is captured, the courts are captured, the parliament are captured, the police are captured. So the only way, the only option that is left to us is in our disposal are the people. So we believe that the streets, which is governed by the people, is the only court that will deliver justice to the people of Zimbabwe, because we need a permanent solution to this crisis. Our people have been suffering for a long time, and the government of Zimbabwe is turning a blind eye to these issues. So we have chosen streets to become the avenues of our revolution. Remember, this is not new in the history of Zimbabwe. In the political industry in Zimbabwe, this is not new. When our forefathers rescued this country, they went to the streets because they failed also to have other avenues, whereby by then the government of Smith would give them an ear to understand the challenges that they were facing by then. So we are at that stage.
So Bruce,
why? Because we have felt what we need to make sure that we rescue and save the future of the future generation and the current
okay, so Bruce, I need to ask about that.
So they are saying
Bruce,
they are after the fourth Chimrenga now. People want to to protest. It's time for the fourth Chimrenga. That's what he's saying. I told you, revolution will start in Bulawayo. Bulawayo people can't take it anymore. They're tired. Remember what happened last time when Diana Moss was playing with Highlanders, and it moved from soccer to politics, and you saw them. The guys were after the police. The police were running away from the povo, which can show you that honestly, people are just tired. People are just tired. I don't know why we can't have a solution sitting around the table. People are just tired. Now, Nehanda decided to write an article. This is in my own opinion. They are saying that why Shavangu Saga marks the death of democracy. I'm going to say why Shavangu Saga, marks the beginning of democracy in Zimbabwe and could seal Edith's fate. So, they were saying why Shavangu Saga marks the death of democracy in Zimbabwe and could seal Edith's fate. I would say the beginning, marks the beginning of democracy. Why I'm saying so? There was never democracy in Zimbabwe. It was never. So, in my opinion, I think this marks the beginning of democracy. That's what I think. People don't see it, but honestly, when we come out of this nonsense, you will never see crepe again in Zimbabwe. People are going to stand and say, we cannot take this. We want a better country. This is not going to work. So they said, why? They're looking at why. How will the Shavangu Saga seal this fate? By rendering democratic elections, accountability, and independent state institutions obsolete. You will now be at the mercy of other plotters lying in the deep state to pounce at the slightest hint of weakness. As he's now advancing in age, also, you remember, Mugabe was also played the same thing. Akasukere confirmed on SABC that the reason why they were able to outsmart Mugabe is because of age. He was not getting younger, and with that being said, he could not play his games well, which is also still playing right now as we see that also the president is getting younger by day. So, saying again, age is going to be another area of contention. So, as he is now advancing in age, senility, gradual or steep deterioration in reservoirs of virility will arrive at some point as an unavoidable detours on the way to path to mortality. We all know in the end, we're all going to die and go home to be the Father. So, of course, whatever this whole plan is... As one's destiny with mortality is unknown, it means that it is one of the few variables that he will be unable to conquer, with the caveat being that he has now entered the zone of diminishing returns, where each day brings him closer to it. which in turn threatens to leave his dependency and family members at the mercy of the vagaries of whatever political creature he leaves behind at that precise moment. So what he's trying to say is, you know, he's advancing in age, he's getting younger daily. So with that being said, there is you know, he has to find a person that he trusts that will be able to protect the family dynasty. But unfortunately, as far as I know, Zimbabweans, most people, honestly, especially politicians, people are not honest. So you really can't trust anybody. As a matter of fact, people have suffered enough that I don't think that they are willing to actually go into they cannot carry on with this drama any longer. People want out. They want to have a country that functions peacefully, where there is love and honor and respect and growth. I think this is the beginning of democracy in this country. Remember, two men who went to see the spirit medium. So Mugabe and His Excellency, the president, they went to see the spirit medium. And you also heard Chamisa confirmed that the spirit medium, even after losing elections, is the one that is dealing with CCC to keep them in power. All I'm saying is the people that went to see the spirit medium, one is gone, he went to heaven, the other one is aging. And also with time, you know, so what is that supposed to mean? That will be the beginning of democracy, because before they were being led by the spirit medium, as Chamisa confirmed, you heard him saying that, is the one that actually is dealing with CCC. And even after we lost elections, where, you know, the spirit medium still, you know, put us where we are now, we're still in the office, the spirit medium of our, they said the Mbuyane Handa spirit. That's what they confirmed. So in conclusion, what will still eat this fate is a moribund economy, a worthless currency, hyperinflation, overtaxation, formidable deep state opponents who have got time and are equally determined, and the sheer scale of the obstacles he faces in trying to remove a presidential term limits, coupled with his age and the spectre of mortality which looms large, means that, as previously concluded, it is politically overreaching and pursuing unrealistic goals which are highly unattainable and likely to end in ignominy. It's one thing to term an opposition political party, but which does not enjoy the patronage of state institutions, and quite another to overcome a foul feasting on the same advantages you are used to enjoying and determined to defeat life presidency, and perhaps nursing a festering wound grounded in sentiments of betrayal and lack of gratitude. This is Brighton Matuke. He's a UK-based attorney, incredible man, and also a political commentator, absolutely incredible. That was a great submissions right there. Great submissions. Whatever plan that is being planned here, like I said, this will be the beginning of democracy in Zimbabwe. The beginning of democracy, not the end. No, it can't be the end, because there was never any, you know. During the time of Smith, there was never democracy. Coming in 1980, you know, it has been drama after drama after drama after drama. We have had enough. So in my opinion, maybe that will be the beginning of living, the beginning of us starting life, and make sure that we live greatness for our children. I pray that our children won't suffer the way that we do. Won't be discussing this nonsense, rather talking about you know, how to build the country, you know, talking about projects, talking about talking about important issues, man. Things that are important, really growing the country, talk about education, innovatives. That's what we're talking about. You know, we want to mabazi. We are tired. It's only importing China. No. We don't. We're tired of this China. We want to make sure Zimbabwe become the country that we wish it can be, that we deserve. So for me, I'm saying I'm gonna land right here. But definitely that will be the beginning of democracy. May God bless you, and may God bless Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for coming through. I'll see you later on at exactly around 9. We'll be looking at CCC MPs have filed as independent candidates. We'll be looking at that story a little bit later. Thank you so much, guys, for coming through. I love you, and God bless you. God bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.